In this context, the European Union and NATO have been talking about how to deal with the situation in the Aegean Sea, in the sea that the refugees used to go from Turkey to Greece. And NATO has decided to send 3 warships in order to patrol the area. Do you think this mission is really going to work against the mafias? Are they going to stop them?
No, because NATO didn't want this job. NATO was invited to do this job, to help the monitoring and the operations of Frontex and, of course, the Greek and Turkish authorities. So it was just monitoring. That's what Stoltenberg told us in the European Parliament a few days ago. So I don't think they will try to have anything to do with the refugees, just in case of a rescue a case that they will have to send them back to Turkey, as we heard it already happened. So I don't think it will really help, but they will try to keep the balance in the area. So I think even monitoring will prove that Turkey is not respecting the agreement with the EU. So the funding there, like 3 billion euros, were sent to Turkey to control the coast, to be able to monitor and to stop the network of the mafia, the local mafia. So I think even in that case, it would be important to have the point of view of NATO. And also, of course, the European Parliament is following very close what is happening, and we're trying to prepare also and to save, to keep our borders safe, because NATO has both Greece and Turkey as members, but the European Union has the borders of the Aegean Sea, the Greek borders. So we have to protect them. I think that we have to work in many dimensions, and we have to be prepared that Turkey will not fulfill all the parts of the agreement. And we have to see, it's an opportunity to see how they will respect not only the agreements, but the trust that they're trying to build with Europe. But it's a big thing. I think they're using it for internal politics. I think they use it as a power game. And we have to find a solution with that. We have to keep the dialogue open, of course, besides what we realize that is already happening. And at the same time, we have to keep our borders under control and not the open doors policy. So we have to know that Turkey is not the country where the refugees come from. They come from Syria. So NATO will send them back to Turkey because it's a safe country for the Syrians. I think we should work in this dimension. And also we have to create the hotspots so that we do the job that Turkey does not. So to date, there was a decision of sending a big amount of money to Greece especially, to create an infrastructure to support the refugees that will remain until we solve the problem. So I think at least Europe is trying, and we have to find our allies out there.
So Europe today announced this 700 million, but they are paying 3,000 million to Turkey. So I don't know, Mr. Maragall.
They're still not paying. We
well,
decided
they want
to. But I am not. I don't share the criteria exposed by the European Commission and this new 700 million euros, because the problem is we decided to contain it in Turkey, and now we are deciding to contain it in Greece.
Exactly.
Trying to avoid the. We call it the contagion.
I think they're trying to isolate the problem.
But I think it's an error.
Yeah?
It's worse than an error.
It's a hostile.
It's Europe against one of its members.
Exactly.
We should, this 700 million should be applied to real resettlement, relocation politics.
I agree.
Attributed to every country. You said before Poland, 12,000 people?
By the Commission, it was decided we should have taken
you know
8,000.
how much people has Spain received? 0.
18. 18.
Wow,
Which
18.
means 0.
18.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not 18,000, not 18,000, 18.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm talking about.
It's a shame for us, for all European countries that we are not doing this.
We were not prepared for that.
We are not. It's not true. We
don't show solidarity in many cases.
Excuse me. There is a lot of cities and regions that are offering their installations, their equipment, their services. There's these NGOs, they're willing to receive these people. There are the states that are avoiding it to
also
happen.
in Portugal
Also in
and,
Portugal,
and Romania, they ask for refugees.
Barcelona has offered it,
Barcelona.
but not only Barcelona. A lot of cities across Europe have.
But as you said, it should be a common responsibility of all the countries and not just a single country. So if it was
Not
decided
single, not one, not
by
two,
the
that's
European Commission,
28
the quota,
countries.
it should be respected. But until now, hasn't been by any.
The same in Greece. The government was not prepared. NGOs took place. People were helping. And, you know, we have this financial crisis. People don't have a lot of money to help each other. But they do that. So they're trying to protect the refugees because it's their own initiative. But it's not the government. The government was not prepared.
Yeah. No, but you know what is happening?
The same
The mafia, the Turkish mafia,
Yeah.
with the, let me say, with the brandeis of Turkish authorities, are sending people to Lesbos in Greece with one argument. You will find there an NGO who is attending you, who is, it's included in the price. People pay for going to Europe. I think it's
And this is where Turkey should act.
Well, yes, but not only Turkish.
Let's move
European states.
to
Yes,
the
I
situation in Turkey and the Kurds specifically, porque el conflicto.
Refugiats cap a Europa a través de Grècia.
Mrs. Kaili, how should Europe react to the conflict in Syria, the conflict with the Kurds, and this kind of cynicism that they were mentioning, in which we support one people and then the others, and so on?
I would say hypocrisy does not only come from Turkey. We have it between us, but I think it was a wake-up call. So I think we're trying to take our responsibilities in Europe. At least we discuss about it. It was an issue that we didn't want to discuss. And of course, there are responsibilities of the US politics and the countries that supported what was happening in Syria. So we have to deal with that. And to deal with that, we have to accept that we have to have a common policy. And we have to stop isolating the problem just to Greece or just to Italy or just to which country has the problem. We have to face it because it will reach the doors. We don't really have borders anymore. Inside the Europe, and this is like an achievement. We shouldn't destroy that.
Yeah.
I think that we have to see that Turkey has no problem to put in danger the lives of women, of children, instead of keeping them and having a safe infrastructure. They prefer to take the risk. Who would prefer to take the risk to cross the sea if Turkey had done their job? So nobody could offer them anything. It's the danger, it's big enough so that they would stay if they could. So I think Europe has woken up. They woke up, so I think the hypocrisy is something that we have to deal with, but at least we have to keep the dialogue open. We start to talk about the problem and try to raise the awareness also in the US. And I think European citizens show more solidarity than the governments.
How would you, as a final comment, because we have to go, how would you assess this situation from the military point of view?
Well, I think in case of Turkey, Turkey has done so far a great job with refugees. But I don't really think that the burden should be really put only on Turkey because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're already dealing with a lot of problems on your own with the Kurds, etc. So I don't really think that, you know, this new deal between the Commission and Turkey, or this 3 billion, is actually enough to deal with the problem. So I would say, to conclude, it should be a common responsibility of all the EU countries, and not trying to use Turkey as a tool to deal with this problem.
Well, thank you very much. Moltes gràcies. Muchas gràcies. Tots per aquestes contribucions al Via Europa. Nosaltres tanquem aquí aquest programa que hem volgut dedicar a analitzar en profunditat la crisi dels refugiats.